As you can see, we have our little Twinkie patient here. And like I said, you could use a Twinkie, a cupcake, a banana, a potato, Play-Doh, or just a piece of paper, anything you want to make your little patient guy. So the first thing we're going to do is indicate what is the anterior and posterior sides of the patient. So remember, the anterior means front. So this part here would be anterior. If you were looking at it from the side, this would be anterior. Posterior is the back. So the part where the cream is coming out of the back, that would be posterior. And if you were looking at it from the side, that would be here. Anterior and posterior always mean front and back. And just because the direction the person is standing in changes, where anterior and posterior are located does not change because they are in relation to the patient. So this will still continue to be anterior, and this will still continue to be posterior, even though the patient has rotated. Now we're going to place strips of Twizzlers to indicate the 4 quadrants of the body. So first I'm going to lay one here, and that's going to divide the body into top and half, or superior and inferior. And then I'm going to lay down another strip here in the middle to divide the body into left and right. So now we have 4 quadrants. This one's not laying down very well. We have 4 quadrants of the body. Okay, I'm going to remove these now, and we're going to make an incision at the transverse plane. So I have here a plastic knife. And remember, transverse means that you divide the body into top and bottom. So we're going to make an incision here. Okay, so now we have made an incision that's going to divide the body into top and bottom. We can separate those 2 pieces. Now I'm going to take a toothpick, and I have colored toothpicks, but if you don't have colored toothpicks, that is totally okay. And you are going, this one, I'm going to take a blue toothpick, and I'm going to mark the superior end. Now, who can tell me what end is the superior end? That's right, superior means above. So we're just going to stick him right there. Now I'm going to place a red toothpick in the most distal point on the right inferior piece. Okay, the most distal point on the right inferior piece. So if we're looking at our person, remember, we have to remember it in terms of anatomical position, meaning that what looks like the left is really the right, and what looks like the right is really the left. So the right inferior bottom, right inferior would be this corner down here. And distal means the furthest away from the attachment point. And since we're dealing with a Twinkie and not a real person, that just means the most bottom right-hand corner I could possibly get to, okay? Now I'm going to make a 3 centimeter mid-sagittal incision on the posterior inferior portion of your person. So there's a lot of words there that we need to dissect. The first one is, we know we're looking at the inferior portion of our person. It also is telling us we want to look at the posterior side. So that means we need to flip him over. Let's stick that back in there. Now notice when we flip our person over from anterior to posterior, that toothpick goes with us and now has flipped sides because we are looking at the back side of a person. I'm going to go ahead and flip over the top half too, just so that you can kind of get a visual for what we're looking at. So this is the inferior posterior portion of the person, and it's telling us to make a 3 centimeter mid-sagittal incision. Now, mid-sagittal means in the middle, but are we talking about in the middle vertically or horizontally? Remember that sagittal planes divide the body into left and right. So a sagittal incision would go down the middle vertically. So it's telling us to make a 3 centimeter, just going to roughly estimate that's probably 3 centimeters right there in the middle vertically. Now I'm going to place a yellow toothpick on the anterior superior medial section of the person. Again, lots of words here, so we're going to break those down. Anterior means the front of the person. Superior means the top of the person. So here's the top of our person and the front of our person. And it's telling us to make a medial section or place the toothpick in the medial section. Now, what does medial mean? Medial means towards the midline of the body. So we're looking towards the middle. So our yellow toothpick is just going to go somewhere in the middle of the body like so. And lastly, we're going to place an X on the on the left posterior, superior, lateral section on your person. So we know we're looking at superior. This is our superior piece. We're looking at posterior, meaning we're now looking at the back side of our person. We're looking at left lateral. So lateral means away from the midline, meaning we're going to be looking over here. Now, because we're looking at the back, can anyone tell me which side is going to be left? This side or this side? Because we're looking at the back of a person, anatomical position is reversed, meaning this side is the left side and lateral would be here. So let me grab my marker. And so we're going to place an X on the left lateral, meaning away from the midline, superior, meaning the top half, posterior, meaning the back of our person. Okay? That is some basic overview of your Twinkie dissection. Hopefully that helped you to kind of get a visualization, sorry, difficult word, about all the different parts of the body. Okay, that's it.